passionate instigator, and dynamic problem solver. Dr. Kevin Ross Emery, the host of the Dr. Kevin Radio Show, will be taking you outside the box, behind the curtain, and identifying the load of BS we are fed every day. And now, Dr. Kevin.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dr. Kevin Show, where we challenge everything and everyone. This is the first Thursday of August, and in the first Thursday of August, just like in the first Thursday of July and the first Thursday of June, we bring you neutral news. This is an attempt, and I say that, I have quotes around it, an attempt on Matt Connarton and my part, Matt Connarton from Matt Connarton Unleashed, to try to give you the truth as we know it, as we can discover it, as we can research it, because there's a lot of fake news going on there, as someone likes to say. It's all fake news, of course, unless it comes from his personally, he might as well as own it, media station. But there's a lot of fake news out there. And I hear the dulcet chuckles. Matt, welcome.
Hello, Dr. Kevin. How are you, sir?
I'm just delightful. I almost stopped in and saw you today on your own radio show.
You
I was driving right by Manchester, and I thought, if I stop, then I'm going to be there at 6. And then I wasn't sure if there was some place that we could jump into and go do the radio show, because I learned the hard way I can't do it in the car.
Oh yeah, we could have done that from here.
Yeah, well,
but,
we'll see. We may do that next month.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Okay.
Oh no, I was just saying yes.
Yeah. So, first of all, for those of you who don't know him, on with me is Matt Connarton. He is the host of Matt Connarton Unleashed, the drive-by shooting show. I mean, the drive-through show. No, that was, what is it again? It's Driven by
Drive
Madness
Time?
show. Drive Time. Oh, you know what? The mind, it's slipping.
Yes, I understand, Dr. Kevin.
Yeah. The mind is slipping. In fact, that loud sound you heard was that the mind's slipping all the way onto the floor.
You got to grease those gears a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about greasing my gears on a radio show, okay?
Oh, right. That's for a different show, yes.
That's a different show. But anyways, if you would like to be part of today's conversation, remember this is a live call-in show. You may be hearing it on a replay, and we're going to tell you what to do and give you some additional options for that as well. But on a live TV show, yeah. What am I? Are these cameras or mics in front of me? I'm not sure. They all look alike at this point. You can call in at 202-570-7057. That's 202-570-7057. So I want to let people know they can do that. They can also come to facebook.com/mydrkevin, MYDRKEVIN. And on that show, you will actually have on that Facebook fan page, make sure you like it when you're there. You will be able to leave a comment. So if you are listening to this on a replay, you can turn around and you can listen to it again. And you can still go to the Facebook. You obviously can't call in, but you can go to the Facebook. And by going to the Facebook, you can leave a comment, and Matt or I will get back to you. So before we get into what's going on in the news, because there's lots going on in the news right now, some very last-minute stuff showing up. So before we go there, what's going on in your world? How is your Drive Time show going? How is IPM Nation going? Inquiring minds want to know.
Everything is going, and this isn't a word that I hear much anymore. I want to try to bring it back. Everything is going swimmingly, Dr. Kevin.
Oh, swimmingly.
Yes.
Okay.
With a capital S.
Great.
Yes,
So
yes.
now we talk about this every now and then. Are you still doing anything with your hypnosis? Because you were a hypnotherapist when I first met you. You more or less did the show stuff a little bit on the side. I mean, you were doing it on the side and blah 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 blah, and you launched IPM Nation. But hypnotherapy. So you're still doing hypnotherapy?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what kind of things would people come to you for hypnotherapy for? Right now, I've got a couple of thoughts in the back of my mind, but I'm just curious. What is the most common thing right now that people come to you for hypnotherapy for?
Well, the most common one by far is quitting smoking. And I do other things too, of course, weight loss and stress reduction and, basic phobias. And, it's obviously hypnotherapy has many, many applications. But quitting smoking has always been, over the course of my career, the number one thing that people come to me for. I hang around with a lot of musicians and creative types, and so I think that's part of why my client base has been so much that, because it seems like creative people very often are smokers for whatever reason. But I think that's true though for most people. Most hypnotherapists I've known will say the same thing. Quitting smoking is the number one thing. I've always said I believe it is the easiest way to quit smoking, although with the caveat, I hear great things about acupuncture, but I do believe that quitting smoking is the easiest way. I use hypnosis to convince clients that they are non-smokers and that they've always been non-smokers, and the idea of smoking a cigarette seems completely absurd to them. And once I can get their subconscious mind to absorb that and understand it and accept that and believe it, then the rest of it's pretty easy. So I believe it's the easiest, most effective way to accomplish that. But so that was a very long-winded way of answering your question. But by far, quitting smoking is the number one thing.
Okay. I was wondering if the number one thing had moved to, how to deal with the new. They have a new mental and emotional health label that's out. Have you heard about it?
I have not.
Yeah, it's called Trump Traumatized. And for people that are traumatized, they might need, some hypnosis for them to get over the very reasonable fear that America as we know it is coming to the end. That all sorts of things. But yeah, Trump Traumatized. It's the latest mental and emotional health diagnosis. Of course, the pharmaceuticals are already releasing a set of drugs for it, which basically is like a combination of several of the it's got a little bit of opioid and it's got a little bit of antipsychosis, and they throw in a little bit of an ADD drug because they just throw that into everybody every now. You go to high blood pressure, you say, I got high blood pressure, and I got a heart condition. They said, here, you walk in there and go, here, let me give you a prescription for Adderall. How about some Ritalin? We got a special on ADD drugs. We can give you 3 prescriptions for 1 now. So, it's on sale.
Yes.
But they're prescribing this because they figure if they leave you comatose and then manic depressive and then passed out, that you won't notice what's going on, because that's the only way you couldn't notice it. So can you come up with a hypnotic suggestion for it?
I'll probably need to. I've also heard that referred to as, of course, PTSD, post-Trump stress disorder. I haven't had much call for that here, although I'm sure if I lived in in more of a blue state, I would probably have many more clients needing that particular application, so to speak.
What color state do you live in?
Well, I think of New Hampshire as a purple state. We're kind of, you don't know which way we're going to go in a presidential election. I mean, as you know, at one time we were very much a red state. Then I think it was 2004 we appeared to begin to assimilate into the rest of the Northeast and become more of a blue state. But whereas our legislature tends to be Republican controlled, I think most people think of us as kind of a purple state, although I think as far as presidential elections go, I don't think we're going to go back to red. I think the last time a Republican, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. The last time a Republican carried New Hampshire was 2000. And, of course, George W. Bush. And then after that, we've been a blue state ever since. But I would say purple.
Yeah. So, again, you can call in at 202-570-7057 as we kick around what's on the news, what's in the news, what's on the news, and what's behind the news here on Neutral News, here on the Dr. Kevin Show, every first Thursday of every month with Matt Connarton. Matt, you can go to facebook.com/MyDrKevin, just like everybody else, between now and break or on break, and make sure you put a link to your new show, your new Drive Time show. So make sure that's there. But go to My Dr. Kevin, like the page, and you can put down your comment or your question, and we will certainly be happy to take it. So one of the first things I want to put out is that, and this just tickles me. There, that they leaked the transcripts from the first few phone calls that. And there's our first break, and we'll be right back.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to The Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more. All to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Mother, Mother Ocean.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Buffett. West Indian manatees are one of the most unique animals on Earth, and we're still finding out so many new things about them. But manatees are endangered, and many of them are killed or injured each year because of watercraft collisions or other human activities. You can help save these gentle marine mammals. For free tips on what you can do, call Save the Manatee Club at 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show, where we challenge everything and everyone. And we are here on the first Thursday in August. And like every first Thursday, I am joined by none other than Matt Connarton, of the founder of IPM Nation. You go to IPMNation.com. On IPMNation.com, you can find Dr. Kevin and Friends, my own internet TV station. What do you call it? Do you call it a TV station? Okay, so it's
we do.
My own
channel, TV channel,
TV channel. Yeah, not station, TV channel. So you can go to the Dr. Kevin and Friends channel. You can listen to Matt, who's now doing a 4 to 6 live drive time show that circulates out of Manchester, New Hampshire. but is available via the internet, where he does an awful lot with politics, and then he comes and we kind of discuss politics once a month on this show. I think that we very much need to stay on top of it, and that it's something that we need to, you don't, because you're spiritual, you don't get to ignore you don't get to ignore what's going on in the world. In fact, you should even be more aware of it and more willing to do something. I think that spiritual people, if you truly are spiritual and you have any kind of concept that the world is interconnected, and that when we damage any one group, one kind of people, one religion, one race, one gender, one orientation, or even one single person, that it hurts the collective whole. And so if your spirituality lies in that belief system, and a lot of alternative spirituality have some version of that in their belief system, then you should be paying attention, speaking out, and making a change. It's not that you are above what's going on, it's just that you're a coward.
Oh my!
Did I make that clear? Tough love
Tough
there.
love
I'm so tired of spiritual people thinking that they're above getting involved with that which most affects humanity. I'm like, why do you think you're here? If you're so much above humanity, go ahead and check out. Give us a little more air. Give us a little more food. Give us a little bit more space. Because if you're not going to participate in humanity, we don't need you.
Well, the thing is, if you're not into what's going on, in the world, believe it or not, the world is still what's going on in the world is still going to be into you. You know what I mean? It'll still affect you. So might as well get involved. Have some say.
Absolutely. Don't forget to go on to facebook.com/MyDrKevin and throw your link in the thing, so that people can listen to your show. I don't have it memorized yet, so
I'll post it, but I'll also say it. It's WMNHradio.org.
So I'm going to post a link to actually Dr. Kevin TV that people can go to.
Oh, yes.
And then you said it's www what?
Oh, WMNHradio.org.
WMNHradio.org. So all of this stuff, if you would like to check out Matt's afternoon drive-through show from 4 to 6, if you want to check out my... did I say what? Did I say drive-through again? Did I say drive-through?
It sounded like that time you said drive-to.
Drive-to.
That was a new one. Drive-to, yes.
You don't have to drive to Manchester to hear the show. It is simulcast on the internet anywhere. So no driving is required. Hey, how was that? Was that an adequate save?
Absolutely. Though I would love a live in-studio audience, but so you can drive to here if you'd like, but yes, you can listen online or at 95.3 if you're in or around Manchester, New Hampshire.
Absolutely. So, and I also realized that if you go on the Facebook fan page for My Dr. Kevin, that up in my photo selections, there's a big picture of you and Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoons with your call letters and your call-in station, though the ad does not say where they can listen to it on the internet. So get your people on it. Chop, chop. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing that you sent me doesn't include where people can go on the internet to listen, and you have internet listeners.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So,
everywhere.
Well, everywhere. That's why it's called the internet. I mean, in this day and age. So, back to the transcription. So, did you hear about these transcription leaks? Because it came out just sometime today. Okay. So, did you love the place where he was saying to the Mexican president about how he had to solve the drug problem because he promised it, and that's why he carried New Hampshire?
Yes, apparently we're quite the drug-infested hellhole.
Well, yeah, and he didn't carry New Hampshire. Hillary carried New Hampshire.
Yeah, I know. That's great. It's typical Trump. I'm actually I'm pulling up. I'm looking for the. It's all over the article. Yeah, Trump argues he won New Hampshire because it's a. What's the exact quote here? I'm trying to. Internet's running a little slow. Oh, a drug-infested den. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he won New Hampshire because New Hampshire's a drug. Yep.
Yeah,
so,
and he didn't even win here. Yeah.
Yep. Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen were neither one really. They called the characterization disgusting, and said that Trump owed New Hampshire an apology. Of course, I've been pushing that we need to get that Trump has owed us an apology for a half a dozen things, and I don't think we should let him forget it. And I cannot believe what you told me, that we're actually going to go along with the the Gestapo committee that he set up for fraud election and send them our information. Like, who decided that?
Bill Gardner, our Secretary of State. And it is a surprise because historically, New Hampshire, we have a very independent spirit here. We're the live free or die state. We're kind of the last state one would expect to go along with this. What is it? Election Fraud Commission. I forget what the exact name of it is. But, and instead, we're one of very few states. Last I knew, it was something like 43 or 44 states were refusing to participate. So it really is remarkable that we're going to do it. Of course, the counter argument that I keep hearing to that is, well, this information is publicly available anyway. But if it's publicly available anyway, let them get it themselves. Why do we have to hand it over?
Now, do you know, because I come to you sometimes for some of this stuff, because you live, eat, and breathe politics on your show. And as you know, yes, though I occasionally will throw my words in, I'm a pretty apolitical person. Though I think you're rubbing off on me. So we won't tell Jen and Jeff that you're rubbing me. Okay. No. So.
Oh my.
The Bill Gardner. I mean, has this been done? Is there any way that we can file a protest? Could we get a petition and get people in New Hampshire saying we'll do it when Trump makes an apology to New Hampshire? I mean, is it too late?
That I don't know. I mean, I don't think anything's been handed over yet. I'm actually, now that you bring it up, I'm trying to see online because this particular story hasn't really been in the news much over the last week or so. Because, the news cycle is such that, Gardner said back on June 30th that we will turn over public voter records, but I don't know. I don't see anything that indicates if it's actually been done yet. Because, there's so much happening.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No. So how can the people who, like me, may be horrified by this thing going on, is there any recourse of action? Can we sign a petition? Can we do anything? Is there, what's happening here, and what can we do about it? Is it too late? I mean, you're talking about passing our information on, and I don't know that would be the will of the New Hampshire people. I think it should have been run by the people whose information is being given.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I'm looking at this article here trying to figure out. See, I can't find anything that indicates if it's already happened. I mean, there's some verbiage here from Gardner saying, it's what they've all been saying, everyone who supports this, that everything we're providing is public, the voter file. I don't really know what to do about it. it's not a partisan issue, so it's not like one or the other party can really pursue it. There's both Democrats and Republicans who are in favor of this, and both who are against it. Yeah, I mean, it looks like I can't find anything that says whether or not this has already been turned over. I mean, there is going to be a cost for it. The federal government has to pay us for the money. They have to pay the state $8,300. Of course, $8,300 doesn't add up to anything as far as the budget. Yeah, I don't know if it's already been done. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, and you have no idea. You don't know anything about. I mean, as political as you are, ask Jen. She'll know. I bet. Why isn't anybody protesting this? Especially because of the continued bad comments that Trump has made. He didn't make just one. He has misrepresented New Hampshire multiple times, and we're going to roll over and say, well, it's public record, so we'll give it to him anyways. I don't think that we should do that. I think that we need to stick it to his commission until he at least apologizes. And I can't believe that people in New Hampshire wouldn't get behind that. And is this story just getting buried? Do they just not want to? I mean, like, what's going on? What do you think's going on? And we'll be right back with Matt Connarton.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
This is why you work so hard to pay the mortgage. Because home is more than four walls and a roof. It's that porch swing on a summer evening. It's everybody over for Sunday dinner and your family sleeping in their own beds at night. Making Home Affordable is a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov.
Good night, Mama.
This is why. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Hello, and welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show. Where we challenge everything and everyone. This is a live call-in show. You can weigh in. We're talking about right now whether New Hampshire should actually push back against, who was it again that said that we were going to do this? Remind me, Matt.
Secretary of State Bill Gardner.
Should we be pushing back against Secretary of State Bill Gardner and say, I don't think that Trump's commission should get anything from us until we get the apology that we deserve? And I'm talking about a full apology. Go ahead.
I apologize. Attorney General, not Secretary of State. Right? I'm looking at this again because I had it right the first time. Okay, Bill Gardner is the Secretary of State. Yeah, I get this confused. So who's our Attorney General? I don't know. Bill Gardner's been there forever, by the way. I think he's been our Secretary of State for literally 30 years. Very popular among both Republicans and Democrats. Everyone likes him and respects him. But a lot of people are criticizing this.
Well, and I think a lot of people, we need to get a petition. We need to get something rallied before it's too late. And the funny thing is because I have just, I have not yet registered because I just finished up technically, I was in New Hampshire and Phoenix both, and I closed down my life fully in Phoenix and just opened up my life 100% of now I'm a New Hampshire resident. And I was getting to go ready to register to vote, and I'm now hesitating on whether I want to do that or not. I know it's a matter of
hesitating on registering to vote?
For the moment. Maybe until after they've sent all of this in, and then I'll go register to vote. But I think a lot of people have mixed energy about voting, and I think that we shouldn't be doing things that make them feel like Big Brother is watching us. Especially Big Brother who is abusing us. Because let's face it, Donald Trump has abused the state of New Hampshire in several comments by spreading lies that he refuses to come clean on. So, there's...
I mean, there was this recent comment, of course, that leaked out about calling us a drug den. But what else? I mean, I'm trying to think of what else has he said about New Hampshire. Because nothing else leaps to mind for me. I don't know. I mean, did you have
that
something
we bust
specific?
all those people in, and that's why Hillary got New Hampshire? That he actually won New Hampshire?
Has he said that himself? I mean, it doesn't surprise me if he has, because that's a common Republican line.
No, he said that busloads of people were brought into New Hampshire from Massachusetts, and he cast aspersions on the whole legitimacy of the New Hampshire vote because we let busloads of people to come in and illegally vote, and that's the only reason Hillary won. He has said that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't remember that comment specifically because it just gets lost in all the all the things he says. He says a lot of stuff.
And all the other lies?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the other. Yeah, I saw this on CNN today, and I have to say this. It said CNN on my news feed on my phone said something about Trump continues to lie, and I said, why is that news? Like, that's not news anymore. That's old hat, and that's part of the damage. Is it's old hat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just another Trump lie. Why would we care anymore? He said so many. Why would we care?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so he basically did you read any of the comments? Now, this is the transcript of his phone call. So this completely fits into neutral news. This is the transcript of his phone call. So these are the things he said. This is not made up. This is not subject to he said, she said. This is the transcript of the phone call. So I just want to make that clear to people that are out there and saying that, maybe we're being as bad as everyone else. But I mean, can we call the transcripts of his phone call truth? Does that qualify?
Well, no one's denied it, right? Trump hasn't come out and said, or I don't think anyone's come out and said on his behalf that the transcripts are fake. I mean, obviously they're not happy that they leaked out. I mean, this continues to be the leakiest White House in history, but they haven't denied the content of the transcripts themselves.
Let me see. You're completely horrible to your staff. You leave them understaffed. You throw them under the bus. You talk badly about your highest people in staff. And then you expect them to be loyal to you. I wonder what's wrong with that picture. I mean, is there... Did I say anything untrue? He has made abusive comments about several of his staff. He has more positions unfilled than any other president to date has at this point in his presidency. Okay. Those are all just facts. And has he thrown senior staff people under the bus? Absolutely. And, and now they have to admit that he dictated, against the advice of his advisors, he dictated the note that Donnie took to school about why he talked to the Russians.
Yes.
So they've had to own that as well.
He's just being a good dad. It's kind of like when Dad writes a note to help you with something at school. Maybe you have to get out early for a doctor's appointment or something, and Dad has to write you a note. It's like that.
Yeah. Only it's like the school called and yeah.
Yeah, he's just being a good dad.
Yeah. But it's more like your son is selling drugs on street corners and, running around and, drinking and partying and being a public nuisance. And the school calls and says, Donnie didn't come to school today. Oh, he's really sick. He'll come in tomorrow with a note. I think that's a better comparison.
It is, yeah. Are you saying that Donald Jr. Sold drugs?
Well, I think he thought that we were all on drugs, if we were going to believe that first statement.
Oh,
I'm not sure where we got it,
maybe.
But maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. He came to New Hampshire because this is a drug den infested state. So,
Right. Maybe he needed to make a score.
Yeah. Okay, so so have you heard about the grand jury, speaking of Don Jr. Trump, Donnie Jr., did you hear that about the grand jury subpoenas that have started to go out?
Yes. Although I haven't paid too much attention to that specific story because every day there's a million news stories when it comes to Trump. But this isn't going away. That's for sure.
So how much knowledge do you have on this? So what does this actually mean? For the listener that's out there now, is this a big deal? Is this just a normal course of action? Can you comment on this? Because you're more politically savvy than I am on this stuff. Again, I have a tendency to be somewhat apolitical. I try to just weigh in on issues, not politics.
In terms of the Don Jr. situation.
Yeah, is this a big?
Well, it depends. It's a matter of perspective in the sense that, of course, if you're a Trump supporter, then no, it's not a big deal at all. It's all just unfair. It's the media driving it, et cetera. That's how they see it. But I think in terms of the reality of it, it is a big deal because it depends on, the word treason has been getting used a bit, and which I don't care for particularly. I think that's a word that people should be very careful with. But if they put him if they charge him with something and indict him and put him in front of a jury and convince the jury that it was treasonous of him to be meeting with a foreign government to get information that would potentially impact the election, then that's pretty serious. But I think that's a very tough case to make. So I think this will eventually blow over. But Mueller continues to up the ante in terms of, as he's moving through this investigation, this Russia probe. So I think that the Don Jr. part of the story will blow over, but the larger story isn't going anywhere. And there's a lot of speculation that Trump is not only has Trump done business with the Russians far more than he's let on, but that there may have been some money laundering, there may have been loans from organized crime organizations in Russia when he couldn't get a loan anywhere else. There's a lot of theory and speculation, and Mueller continues to go deeper with the investigation. And it's not going away, and I don't think it's going to end well. And that's speculative, but I don't think it's going to end well for Trump, because so often it's not even what you're initially investigated for that gets you into trouble. Look at Bill Clinton. Look at what happened with Monica Lewinsky. It wasn't the initial charge that got him in trouble. It's what was ultimately uncovered in the course of that, of these other investigations. And I think that's why Trump is so nervous. You know, if Trump didn't have anything to hide, why is he constantly trying to discredit Robert Mueller? If he doesn't have anything to hide, why not just let the investigation happen, and then everyone can be exonerated and he can go about his presidency?
Well, and, you know, as you've been saying ever since I've known you, follow the money.
Yep.
If you want to know why people are doing stuff, follow the money, because
always
you'll be more often right than wrong. I'm not going to say always.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes there are other motivations, especially if you're dealing with an obsessed narcissist. I'm not saying that we're talking about one. I'm just saying if you were.
Right.
But follow the money here. And, you know, if you've read what he is able to do, he's well within his rights of everything he's doing, because he can go wherever the investigation leads him. Mm-hmm. But you know, there's a lot of talk out there, and we're going to be going on break in any second now, but there's a lot of talk and we're going to find out what that talk is when we get back.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
So, you know, there are rumors out there that once Congress goes into recess, Trump will fire Sessions and bring in somebody who then will do his dirty work and get rid of Mueller. Do you think that at this point he could get away with that and that will happen? Congress has told him, don't even think about it.
Right.
But
I
technically,
think that,
could he do it?
Technically, of course, he could do it. He could do it now. I mean, technically, he could fire Mueller right now. I mean, he can fire Mueller himself. He doesn't need Sessions to do it. But the political risk of that is enormous, because it will immediately draw comparisons to the Saturday Night Massacre when Nixon fired Archibald Cox, and that led to a couple of other resignations and so forth. So politically, it's so risky. There's no upside to it. I mean, that would be the thing that I think would finally truly turn his own party against him, and try to force him out. I think if he did that, there's no way that Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell can justify that or try to shrug that off or minimize it. I mean, I think that would be the end. Because as I've always said, once the Republican Congress actually begins to turn on him, like, and I mean really turn on him. I don't mean just McCain casting the deciding no vote in the health care repeal, you know, or Jeff Flake writing that book that was very critical of Trump. I mean really turn on him openly, where leadership is criticizing him. That is the beginning of the end of the Trump presidency. And his firing Mueller would absolutely, or his firing Sessions even, I think would absolutely trigger that. But he could fire Mueller now. He could fire Sessions now and then appoint, like, as you alluded to, appoint a new attorney general while Congress is in recess. You know, they call that a recess appointment. Congress is in recess. So I'm going to go ahead and appoint somebody now without Congress because they're not here to confirm them. Obama did that with, in some instances, not in any real high profile, positions, but so he could do it, but wow, it's risky. I mean, he's on such thin ice already. It's very, very risky.
Well, you know, and one of the other things here is that, both the House and the Senate have put forward a bill that is sponsored, you know, because they shoved the Russia thing down his throat. We will put these sanctions on. What was it, 421 to 2 and 97 to 2? I mean, it was
overwhelmingly, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, you veto this, we're just going to override your veto. And then you really look foolish.
Right.
But one of the things is that impaneling the second grand jury, because there was one in Alexander about Mike Long, but now he's empowered one in Washington. So he's impaneled a new grand jury, which says subpoenas will get issued, witnesses will testimony, stuff like this. Doesn't mean that anything will be found guilty, but it has definitely upped what they can ask for and who they can who they can technically go after. Now, Congress, both in the House and the Senate, have put bills in that they're talking about, introduced legislation today, making it harder for Trump to fire Mueller. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That got by me, really.
The introduction, well, it just happened today. The introduction of the two bills with different bipartisan pairs. It was Lindsey Graham and Cory Booker in the Senate, and it was Senator Tom Tillis, Republican, North Carolina, and Chris Coons, Democratic, Delaware. They'll put them forth. So bipartisan bills, and we know we haven't seen a lot of that lately, except for Russia.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is that these bills actually say that if Trump fires Mueller, that they have 14 days and a 3-jury panel of judges to decide if it was justified and if there was sufficient evidence, or they can reappoint him.
Wow.
This is never been done before. Yeah, here it is.
Wow.
Under the legislation, a special counsel could challenge his or her removal with a 3-judge panel ruling within 14 days on whether the firing was justified. If the panel found no good cause for the firing, the special counsel would immediately be reinstated.
Wow. Yeah, that is remarkable.
Yeah. Congress is basically, when you basically bitch out Congress the way that Trump has about the health care, and of course Graham stood up to him and said, I've explained this to the president, and basically the idiot doesn't understand it. He didn't say that, but it was inferred. I've explained this, and this is why we will not bring up this health care bill again. We're not going to do it.
Right.
And of course, Trump's strategy is he's going to still try to play to his base, that he's the forlorn hero fighting against the evil empire of Congress now and the party system that he wanted to clean up, and it's going to be all their fault for all of this things not happening. And Trump, all of Trump's shenanigans, of course, had nothing to do with it. You know, so this is how he's going to try to play it. I mean, tell me you cannot hear this scenario coming out in, what is it, 144 characters?
Oh yeah.
So what did you think about the military pushing back on they're not taking any actions against transgendered? That they will.
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very positive the way the military has reacted to this, because I said this on my show the other day. Think about this. Think about how far we've come. I think this is a great example of how far we've come. When Bill Clinton became president, one of the first things he tried to do right out of the gate was, via executive order, lift the ban on gays in the military. And it ended up being much harder than he expected, because the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the leadership of the military pushed back quite heavily and didn't want to do it. So Bill Clinton wanted to do the right thing, but the military didn't want to do the right thing, and so they ended up compromising with don't ask, don't tell. Now here we are all these years later, we have a president who's trying to do the wrong thing, because this is just silly. There's no reason for this. And you have the military pushing back, because now you have the military trying to do the right thing and saying, no, we don't need to ban transgender people from serving. There's no reason to do this, and the president's run. I mean, they're not saying that explicitly, they can't, but that's clearly the message that they're sending. They don't want to do this. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, there is something actually very positive in this, because it's a complete reversal. You know, with Clinton, he had the military pushing back, saying, no, we don't want to evolve, we don't want to move forward. But now, today, you've got the military pushing back, saying, no, we do want or I should say, we don't want to go backward. You know, and I think that's very positive. And I don't understand why Trump did this anyway. And I don't understand Trump's tweet. He said in his tweet announcing the ban on transgender people that this was after consulting with his generals. I don't know what generals he talked to. He apparently didn't talk to any of the current generals who are actually in charge, because they were all blindsided by it. And apparently James Mattis is furious over this. And none of them want to do this. So I don't know what generals he's referring to. But I'm very encouraged and heartened by the military's reaction to this and the pushback that they're giving on this. I think it's great.
And I do. I think that it's great as well. And the fact that they did as rightfully as they should, because, you know, somebody that was really ready to, you know, make, you know, like be like, oh, thank God we're going to get those kind out, could have actually started some kind of steps, hypothetically, but they all said, we do not make changes based on a tweet. If we get direction from the White House, we will look at it, and then we will, and it was even worded like, you know, that then the discussion will begin or something. I mean, almost like you really, you're not ramming this down our throat. So I agree with that. I think that that's really good. And it's just polarized. I mean, it's created yet another group that if they didn't have reasons to be upset with our president, now do. And so, Matt, what was he thinking? I just, like, why would you even open up? Was it a diversion? Was he trying to get people to stop talking about Russia? Was he, I mean,
I
now
think so.
He's talking, you know, is he just going to keep on getting more and more ludicrous? If it gets too close, is he just going to, like, launch a nuclear bomb? I mean, I know many people that have that fear.
Yeah, I certainly hope not that, and I don't sense that, but I do think this was a distraction. I do think it was a diversion, and I think it was a specific type of diversion. It was one that would mobilize and sort of activate and energize his base. You know, the conservatives who don't like transgender people being in the military, trying to rally them to support him. But obviously it's backfiring spectacularly, as it should.
Yeah. Well, he's going to keep on upping the shenanigans as much as he can. And, you know, the thing is, if they do find, and this will probably be our last question, and you probably don't have an answer because a lot of minds are talking about it, but let's say they find that money laundering was going on, that he had all these connections to Russia, that he did stuff before he became president, can he pardon himself?
Which he can do. And yeah, and I believe, I mean, there's some question about whether he can pardon himself, but I believe he can.
Okay, well, Matt, thanks. Another Neutral News Thursday has come and gone, and I'll talk to you on this place and this station in another month.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin.
Bye.